right. It is 7:57. We are going to get into this a little early. All right. Ooh. All right, we'll start with the beginning. And what I'm going to do is give you some parameters here. These courses are designed to be really quick, 30, 40 minutes. I'm really working on 30 minutes because I want you to take the information, then go out and do something with it versus just collecting information and reading books and watching videos. It's only going to take you so far. You have to take the knowledge and do something with it. So we're going to talk about some things that I have learned that I think are going to benefit you greatly. Now, what we're going to do tonight is starting a business for $100. I'm going to give you my process plus the guy who really hit me to all of this stuff years and years ago. What's funny about it, he didn't even know what he was doing. I'll tell you in a minute. I'm not going to get ahead of myself. So you're starting a business. What is your first thought? This is super, super important. What is your first thought? What are you doing? You have to have some kind of basis. I've interviewed people. I talked to people. There are people who have very lofty, extremely altruistic viewpoints of what the world should be, solving problems. And I'm 100% down with that. However, when you are starting a lifestyle business or a small business, you have to think about the money. It's very important in the beginning because you can have the best intentions in the world. You can have the great idea, but if you don't think about the money, it's not going to go anywhere. This is your first thought. How much do you want to make? Now, this is really important in terms of building and planning. I'll give you a perspective. You want to start a cement plant. You just got this thing for dump trucks. You got this thing for construction, and you want to start a cement plant. And you go out there and it's like, hey, I want to start a cement plant. Then you find out that you need property and a building and licenses. So you figure out how much money you need to get to open it up. But not as much thought goes into how much money you want to make. It's kind of left up in the air. It's like, hey, if I don't really want that much, just enough to pay my bill. That is foolish thinking. That is what keeps you poor. That is what keeps your business where it is. How much you want to make is very important. There's somewhat of a hybrid. I'm going to tell you a few things and I'm going to walk you through my process and then give you an assignment. Yes, there's homework. Definitely homework. My goal was $50,000 a year. And I knew that was going to be hard as a writer. So I thought in terms of putting together a book, getting a publishing contract, doing those things. But that was the goal. I also gave myself 2 years to accomplish that, or I was just going to go out and have to do something else. What I didn't realize, when you give yourself this kind of goal, it forces you to think about your business in a very different manner versus when you are, how much money do I need to start the business versus how much money I want to make from the business. It sounds really simple. It sounds even overly simplistic, but it's extremely important because you're changing your perspective. When you have the perspective of how much money I need to obtain to start this business, you are on offense. Well, I should say you're on defense. You're defensively defending your position. It's a defense deal. Defense can win games. Offense scores points. So when you put my goal was 50,000 a year, I was on offense. In business, you want to be scoring points. You do not want to be in a defensive posture of not losing money or trying to maintain a certain level. You want to be offense, scoring points. You want the California high flying aerial offense. You want points. You want fast breaks. That's what you want. You want offense. So, hey, how much money do I need to start this business? And I'm being repetitive for a reason. Is defense. How much money do I want to make? Is offense. Now, everybody likes to shoot the rock, so this should be more fun. Meet Andy. This is the guy that just really, really, really set everything. I mean, just really, really set everything on fire. I was a junior account executive. I found the lead that he was looking for space. Andy had a very unique business. He fixed ATM machines across the country. Very rarefied air. There wasn't that many people that did that kind of stuff. I was a very enthusiastic account executive, so I bugged the shit out of him, just to be honest. And we developed somewhat of a friendship. And I would go meet him, or I would show up, and he put up his finger, and he would talk on the phone about what he was doing. Andy was a genius. Didn't realize it at the time. I just thought he was this rich guy. And he would talk on the phone, and he was mentoring me by allowing me to be in the space to listen to the deals. Andy was an extremely conservative financial person. He didn't believe in fancy cars. He didn't believe in a fancy office space. The salesman for the company made $150,000, $300,000. Andy had a regular car. However, Andy's house was the bomb. Andy's kids went to private schools. So his money wasn't in his business or in his car. It was in his family. And I learned a lot from him. Then I remember he was talking to his friend, Brad. Brad, you do not have to start this business with any money. Fucking listen to me, Brad. Fucking listen to me. This is what you do. You do your market research. You find out where the pain is. Then you go out and you pre-sell your product. Now, this was before this internet stuff and before, well, not 100%, but a very sound idea. Not just listen to it. And one of the things that came out of it, because after Brad got the deal and he would come in there and I met him, he essentially in 6 months took nothing to $1 million company. Now he was selling very specialized stuff, high-end stuff, but he went from nothing to 6 months in $1 million. Now, a big part of that was Andy. He didn't have money. He had intellectual capital. Let me say that again. He did not have money. He had intellectual capital in Andy. That was more valuable than money. See, Andy dropped some jewels on him that enabled him to make money. And one of the problems that he had is one of the problems that many of you have. Your issue is not money. It's a lack of vision. Let's look at Brad. Brad already had the intel. He had the knowledge base to do it. Then Andy just spun him around and said, no, you don't have to do that. You do this, this, and this. So Brad had the expertise. Brad had the industry knowledge, but he didn't have the perspective. He didn't have the vision. Then Andy was like this big flashlight that was like click, and he just shined light in dark corners. It wasn't about the money. It wasn't about the money. It was about the vision. So if you want to start a business without any money or a little money, your vision has to be massive. You cannot have a micro vision and expect massive results. It's just not going to happen. Now, this is where most things tend to fall apart. The first step. Without vision, you are a prisoner of your whims. You know what you want. You know where you are. You know that you're dissatisfied. but you don't know where you want to go. And when you don't know where you want to go, the first step never happens. When you don't have the first step, you don't have the second step or the third step or the fourth steps. You have this perpetual nothingness, this perpetual, I'm thinking, I wanna, like that engine that's just like, you're trying to start, but you never completely turn over because you never take the first step. You talk about it, you talk a good game, you tell friends that you're trying to do this, you even talk to a few strangers, but you never take the first step. First step is massive. It is huge. It is everything. Now, let's talk about that first step. It's the hardest part of the journey. That's why it's so important. It is the hardest part of the journey. When you want to get started and you don't take that first step, nasty stuff starts to happen. Your self-esteem goes in the toilet, a little self-loathing. And then when you see someone that you deem not worthy or not as talented as you are, you're going, he stole my ideal. No, you left it on the table. The first step is anything that drives your business forward. First step could be creating the business plan. The first step could be making that first sales call. The first step could be market research. Now, when you make the first step, the big first step, because the first step is usually followed by the second step, which is what? What am I doing here? What? Then the third step, action. As long as the steps are close, you will move forward. But if you take that first step, then just stand there, it's like you never took a step to begin with. You'll lose momentum, you'll lose traction, you'll lose all types of things. Really, really important stuff there. What I'm going to do is give you my story, really Cliff Notes version. I was working on a book, and the goal was to write this relationship book. And then after I got a little money from the relationship book, I was going to write the great American novel, get this big publishing contract, and sit that fat, happy, do nothing lifestyle. Didn't happen. Got halfway into the relationship book and realized that it was not authentic. It wasn't me. Didn't want to do it. Just saw nothing but misery. So I completely scrapped the product. Then moved on to the storage auction thing, which took off in ways that I could never, ever even begin to realize nor understand. This is the rub. Those first 2 years, my total outlay of cash was $289, with $189 being for hosting. When I said you can start this for $100, you could do what I did in terms of hosting, creating blog for less than $100. You can start, get your domain for 99 cents up to 15 cents, pay $7 to $20 hosting, depending on what you're trying to do. You could literally start your internet business for $20. Get a free template, upgrade when you have money coming in. $20. Now let's go back to the first step. Why doesn't that happen? Number one, false narratives. I have several videos on YouTube where people come in and, well, I don't know what you're talking about, man. I don't know what you're talking about. If you're going to start a business, you need to borrow money. You need to get office space. You need to be legit. No, you don't. You don't have to do any of that stuff. None of it. $20, $30, you can start your business tonight. Or, and I want you to go to Badass Products by Badass Hustlers and watch the last one with Anthony Zumbai. He didn't even spend that much. In a weekend, when he signed up for GoDaddy, he got a free offer of 30 days for the GoDaddy stores, and he took it. He was making money well before the 30 days where he had to pay his first store fee. It can be done. But when you have this problem right here, lack of vision, you can't see it. I want you to do this exercise the next time you lose something. I see it happen all the time. And also, there's a video I want you to Google, and it's the gorilla walking by the bouncing balls. I don't think that's the actual title of it, but gorilla walking by the bouncing balls. I want you to watch that. Next time you lose something, sit down and say, I can find it. Just do that. And you'll be amazed at how much faster you'll find it. Because when you're stressed, action points or things that have a high stressor, and then you say stuff like that, you create problems for yourself. A lot of problems. One of the problems is you shut off parts of your brain and you really can't see it. It can be, how many times have you looked for something and you've gone through a stack of folders or paper and it wasn't in there, then later on you go there and there it was. When we lock in on something, i.e., I can't do it, the false narrative of I need money, the false narrative of I need permission, the false narrative, you can't, your vision doesn't develop because you've pretty much closed your mental eyes. And that creates a huge problem when you're trying to do the first step. When you get past all of that stuff and create the first step, then you will have an incredibly rich experience. So after I spent the 289, I had at one point 5 blogs. Some you don't even know about because they failed. And that's another part of this. You must experiment. It's not going to work out the first time unless you're just extraordinarily efficient. I'm not even going to say luck, just efficient, or you have the correct response to the marketplace. You're going to make mistakes. There was Business Credit Mentor, there was PassionateFriday.com, and UrbanPackRat.com. I got more love from Urban Pack Rat in one day than I got from those other blogs in 6 months. A lot of experimentation, a lot of change. Look at my YouTube channel. Go to videos, go to my YouTube channel and go to videos and go from oldest, and you'll just see all of the experiments. And I'll leave them up there because some of them are hilarious, some of them are embarrassing, but I tell you this stuff and I show you this stuff to say, this wasn't easy. This wasn't a walk in the park for me, but I took the first step, and then I took the second step, and I took the third step, and I took the fourth step. That's the process. It's not magic. It's not luck. It's not connections, because the first step, the second step, the third step, at some point you'll realize, oh, this doesn't work. But as you take those steps, you'll walk by something that will, or you'll walk right into something that will, and it'll blow your mind. Now, I'll tell you, I did make $62,000 first 14 months. But what I often don't tell people, or I'll tell more people now, 70% of that money came in the last 3 months. That's how long. It's just, you do all of this work in advance, hard, maniacal work. And that's, I'll give you this perspective. So when you're working really, really, really hard and you're putting in the energy and the results you're getting results, but they just seem so minuscule to the effort that you're putting forth. You're just working and working and working and working and working. It's supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be that way. It took me a long time to really understand that. And that's why I can work really crazy hard and not be dissuaded by not having massive results in proportion to the massive work. Because this is the thing. At some point, that massive level of effort is going to boomerang into results. It could be your month 6, or it could be year 6, depending upon your business, your industry, your intel, how fast you learn from mistakes. There's so many variables. That's why I really don't like answering questions about, hey, I got one of those, hey man, I'm desperate. I need some money. I've been trying this. I only got $500 to my name. What can you help? I can't help you. You want a essentially a little remodeling, a little, slap a coat of paint on a house that needs demo work and new electricity, new wiring, new plumbing, you are a demo job, but you're looking for just a little cosmetic rehab. And that's a problem. And that's why I like doing the one-on-ones and really consulting, because we can get really deep in the issue that you can. And I'll just tell you, most of the information on the Gumroad catalog and other stuff is it's middle of the road. It's just someone can come and use it and get benefit. But for the juicy stuff, I have to get to know you and design something for you, because we're all different. I don't know how many times I've talked to someone and then it's like, hey, what about, oh, it's like just something that never would have came up in a simple email exchange. Now, working hard and pushing forward without immediate reward is a talent that you can develop. So I did that, and then things took off. Then I got opportunities, but I worked really, really hard for almost a year with marginal results, which in my mind is quick. And let's talk about perspective. My office furniture business, I got out of it because it was just cash flow intensive. I mean, it was insane. I had a year, did 1.2 million in sales, gross sales. That's not money. That was sales. At the end of the year, after a bunch of fuck ups and bad decisions and all kinds of stuff, I netted out at maybe 20,000. It was horrible. Next year I was in the store. I couldn't do it again. I couldn't have another year like that. And I was working 7 days a week. Sometimes I was working really, really hard. I just didn't know what the hell I was doing. It made money. It was successful, but I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Got into the storage auction business, made 1/10 of the money, took home 90% more money, even splitting with a partner. I still made more money. So part of that is failing and going through things. You understand that some things take time. And that's why when I see a really good opportunity, I know to jump on it versus, hmm, 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 hmm. That's usually fear. That's usually fear. Next time you have an opportunity, ask yourself, what's the worst possible thing that can happen? And if it's not death or illegal, do it. As long as it's not death or illegal or it's going to leave you harm some way, do it. And get that experience. I would tell anyone that's say 17 to 25, fuck up as much as possible, as often as possible. These are your years to do that. And when I say fuck up, try as much stuff as possible. Go. You want to go to Australia and surf? Go to Australia and surf. If you want to go to London with your friends, go to London with your friends. Do that stuff and build those experiences. And also by building those experiences, you're going to meet people that somehow later on in life you probably will reconnect, and they can help you and you can help them. Definitely do it. So you got to build the experiences. Now, with my little journey, and I think it's really quick because based upon other businesses that I started that really just sucked ass, didn't do anything, lost money. First business, I lost $3,000, and I was an E4 in the military. That $3,000 represented probably almost 3.5 months of salary for me. Completely down the drain. 3 months later, I started another business. So what I tell you is, I don't care how bad you mess up. If you don't give up, eventually it will work out. Can I tell you when it's going to work out? No, I have no clue. I just know that if you don't stop, barring death and the horde of locusts, you're going to be okay. It's just getting over falling on your face and being able to build. Now, let's talk about businesses that you can start for $100. Service. If you don't know what the hell you want to do, start a service business, cutting grass, delivering groceries, washing cars. You can generate income, but also this is where many people with service businesses go wrong. They work hard to get the business up, and then the money starts coming in. It's not necessarily what they wanted to do, but now it's like, ooh, it's kind of lucrative. Money's coming in. Start a service business to support yourself only, unless the business you start is so fun and you see yourself doing it for a long time. Because whatever business that you start, you got to think of it as a marriage. And would you be married to someone you couldn't stand? People do it, but it's horrible. Same thing with your business. So if you get in this business you can't stand, even with it making money, it's going to be a problem, a big problem. No, start a service business. Publishing is another thing. And I'm not going to recommend any of these Kindle courses and stuff because I haven't taken any, don't know anything about them. But I do know about writing a book, well, actually books. And I do know that if you do it right, you can support yourself. There's many variables, nothing you can answer in a 30-minute conversation. There's too many variables. I used to get into fights with people in my writing groups, and one day I just got lit up. I was flame bait because I said these words. If it takes you 10 years to write one damn book, more than likely you're not that good of a writer. And oh, it was horrible and it's labor of love. And then I was like, no, what I'm really saying is the faster you write, the better chances you'll have. And one person who went off on me, I saw 4 years later, he was doing exactly what I said. But it will never let me know because I was that guy that went into the field and shot sacred cows. So just because you're thinking this way today and a lot of people disagree with you does not mean that would be the position in the future. Not at all. So service, publishing, video, and also think. I've seen a number of people start jewelry businesses, toy businesses, and scale them up to multi-million-dollar businesses in 3 or 4 years. Essentially, it depends on what you want to do and what's your level of risk, what's your comfort level with risk. That is a big, big part of that. So you've got the service, the publishing, the video. I'm going to give you a little template of someone who's in my camp. She was driving for Uber half-time. She was doing some other stuff because she had a graphic design business, but she just didn't like doing, and she put small jobs. She hated them. She's like, I need to do the bigger projects, but they weren't coming in fast enough for her to live. So she got what I call, I'm going to call hamburger money. That's enough money, pay your rent, pay your mortgage, put a little gas in the car, and you eat and pay with bills. And that's it. It does nothing else. You don't have money to save. No, you don't have none of that stuff. You cannot live the dream and chase the dream at the same time. It doesn't work that way. So you got the hamburger money. And then it allowed her to hold out for the type of clients that she wanted. Then she got the first one. And then we had another conversation because as broke as she was, she bought my consulting services. Then it's okay. You got your client and you're working hard. Now, what are you doing? You stop prospecting. You must prospect. You must do the work of your client, but you must consistently prospect. Prospecting is like your heart and lungs. It should never stop working, ever. And if you get overloaded, develop outlets where you can feed off to your friends and hopefully they'll reciprocate to you. So she developed a marketing machine. So she was doing stuff. And then before she finished this project, bam, another one came in. And before she finished that one, another one came in. So she was brilliant, really brilliant work. The thing is, she had no sales process, none whatsoever. And that happens to many freelancers. There is no sales process. When you hear someone's like, yeah, I don't advertise. It's all word of mouth. That's great for some people. Most people will starve if it had to be all word of mouth. Also, how long has that person been in business? If they've been in business 20 years, word of mouth's a little different than if you've been in business 6 months. You need to promote yourself. So you start this business, you have to have some promotional chops, plenty of books, and we're going to talk about that in future episodes. Now, like I said, I want you to do something. So this is what you're going to do if you haven't done it already. You're going to take your first step. And you're going to do it tonight. You're going to name your company. You're going to start selling. It's like, well, what are you talking about, man? I just named my company and how you going to have me selling stuff? Just ask. It's going to be scary, but it's going to force you to get off of that pot of doing nothing, of over-exhuming, over-analyzing everything. So name your company, whatever your service you're going to sell. And when I say start selling, I don't care if you have a product or not. Nope. Sure. Don't care. Pre-sell, sketch out some cost and talk to some people, call them up. It's like, because one of the things, and you'll find this out when you're dealing with other business people and you want to quote and you just like ballpark it and they won't say no because they don't know exactly what you're going to want and they don't want to get committed to a number. So do your research, go out, talk to people, understand sometimes they won't get back to you that day and sometimes it'll take a few days. Once you get your numbers, then you put your profit on that and you start selling. Now, after you start selling, take the feedback and make your company better. That's how many companies are growing. Just like that. None of these extensive, over crazy long business plans, nor massive infusions of cash. Really, if you can organically grow your business, do it. And that means that, in the beginning, it might be making $50 a month. It might be making $200, $300 a month. That's the beginning. We live in an age where you can scale a business really quickly compared to the old school business model of 3 to 5 years. 1 to 2 years is enough time to really scale up a decent sized business and get to livable income. These are really exciting times. So do this in 3 days. That's your task. That's your marching orders. So what I'm going to do is go in here and we're going to work on this and see where the comments are, because Hangouts are cool. And there are several different places for, well, not several, there's 3. The watch played on the YouTube channel and another Google Plus page. So that's where stuff happens. Okay, so that's the deal. Now, if you want to be part of this, and when I say part of this, there's more. This is the 3rd session. There's going to be more, and essentially this is how I do it. You want to watch this for free? Cool, knock yourself out. If you want the recorded versions and the other ones and the special stuff that's only there in the Gumroad tag, you just have to buy it. Now, this is the beauty of this. You only pay once. So if you go in, you buy something, and what I will do is, if I can find it, I should be able to find it. Hold on. This is a lot of stuff going down right now. And it's under the video. Yeah, because that's something else. So it's actually, yeah, what I'm talking about, it's like right there. Well, it's under all other videos, not so much the Hangout video. But go there, buy it. You'll get this. What I'm going to do is let this process. Then I'm going to upload it to Gumroad either tonight or tomorrow, and then I will set the next class. The goal is to do these chats, keep them between 30 and 40 minutes, and do them every Tuesday at 8 p.m. May change. I may move to 3. You can shoot me a little feedback. You can email Amy at digitalpimping.tv, and we'll take feedback and look at it. All right. So you got your marching orders. Take the first step. Name your company, start selling, take the feedback and make your company better. Do this in 3 days. All right. This is Glendon. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next session.